on, call the gifts.
No, they're on. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, St. Charles Parish Housing Authority, Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. Time is now 6 p.m. I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first agenda item this evening is a review and approval of our agenda. Is there any board discussion? Hey, do we have a motion from the board? Mr. Bailey.
Still goes to the system. So, Chair, I'd like to pass a motion to approve our agenda as presented.
All right, Mr. Bailey's move to approve our agenda as presented. That's seconded by Commissioner Woods. Please cast your votes. All right, that motion passes. The agenda is approved. Second agenda item this evening is a review and approval of our board meeting minutes from January 28th, 2025. Is there any discussion? Mr. Woods.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Mr. Woods has moved to accept the minutes as presented. Do we have a second? Ms. Diggs has seconded. Please cast your votes. All right, that passes. Thank y'all. This time we'll open for public comment. The time is now 6:02. Seeing no one in the chamber, we will now close public comments. And our next agenda item is review and acceptance of financial reporting. Any board discussion? Mr. Woods.
Yes, I guess I'm going to ask, as far as currency, I know we chatted, but I'm always asking, so, and we're doing much better than we were doing, so is it still scheduled for, is this month or next month, or, so the question is when we were going to be at least within 30 days or 60 days of current with financials?
The plan is to have the February 2025 board report to the commissioners for the March meeting, up through so on the next meeting packet, you'll receive the December 2024, January 2025, and February 2025. We are having a meeting with 76 Strategies on Thursday to ensure that we get that deliverable to you all so that we are 30 days current. I know for a fact I got an email from Parish, who is the person working on our financials day to day, that she's almost done with December. She just had a couple of clarifying questions. So if we're done with December now, between now and we have a plan to get all of the financial information to 76 for February by the 5th. Of March, we should have all of that information in the board packet. So the December 2024, January 2025, and February 2025 financial reports in the March 2025 board packet.
Great.
Yes,
wonderful, wonderful. To include, now again, another question, to include our MENAR score.
I can get an updated one from Paul on that.
And just a thought, on that MENAR, was that something that was reported to us on a monthly basis or every quarter, or what's the feasible way to make that presentation for us gathering information and putting it together?
So usually the MENAR, when you do your budget, is projected for the fiscal year. I guess the final score would be once the fiscal year is ended and you'd have that report. I can find out from Paul to be for certain. I mean, it depends on, I guess, how you are, how in line you are with your financial projections. So I'll find out from him and I'll let the board know for sure.
That works.
All right.
With that,
Anything else, Mr. Woods?
And we will make sure to address the St. Charles Place typographical
Man, I
error.
looked at that. I said, I know
I will, yes, that was on my list, absolutely.
I wasn't going to bring it up again. There is one more thing, if I may, Mr.
Go
Chairman.
ahead.
And Mr. Jackson, we did have this conversation. We were noticing in our financials that there were a number of outstanding checks that was for a amount of money, and you were kind of saying that there was something you guys were going to put in place to kind of ever get caught up with that or see where the checks are or dispose of some of them.
So what Commissioner Woods is referring to is a follow-up from Commissioner Bailey's question last month, where it shows the total outstanding checks for that monthly reporting period. Just as an FYI, this list, as it is currently on the October and November reports, will probably be on the report through the March report, because it will take some time to clear the checks off of the report. So it's a rolling report, so basically it won't change much between now and when we next meet, just because going into March, we'll still have those outstanding checks that we'll have to account for. And those outstanding checks are checks that were not cashed or cleared by the payee. So what we're going to do with 76 and with Mr. Allen is void those checks in our financial, with First National Bank and in the 76 financial system, so that we can get those payables that were never cleared. Clear.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And we have to do it that way for the purposes of audit, just in case that comes up.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, any additional questions? Anyone wishing to speak? All right, do we have a motion? Mr. Woods.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the financials as presented.
And Mr. Woods has moved to accept the financials as presented. That is seconded by Commissioner Bailey. Please cast your votes. All right, that passes. Financials are accepted into the record. Mr. Jackson, you have an executive director's report for us?
Yes, good evening, Chairman Jay and all of our commissioners. Again, we want to thank you all for everything that you do in service to our housing authority and our parish and for our residents. Just wanted to make sure that the board was aware on page 178 of your board packet. We have our ELOCs printout, and that shows increased vouchering of available funds from HUD. During our last board meeting, I did share with you that we had an available balance of $1,232,621.63 to draw down. As of February the 18th, our available balance to voucher is $1,070,408.02. Since the last meeting, we've drawn down $162,141.61. And this includes a number of grant periods going all the way back to 2019. And just as an FYI for the board, we are having an issue in the ELOC system with completely expending the 19, 21, and 22 CFP grants, as the system is rejecting our voucher requests for some reason, but we are working with local HUD to get to the bottom of it. And I do want to thank Ms. Prevost and 76 Strategies for working with us to get these vouchers submitted, and also the deposits in the respective accounts. And HUD has noticed and appreciate that the activity has picked up considerably. And again, we hope everyone is doing well tonight. In your board packet, we do have the January 2025 low rent report, and that's on page 179. We'll go through this report. We did receive, for the month of January, rent collection in the amount of $12,266. We currently have 45 leased up units. Of the 129 total units, we have 70 that are on mod status and 14 that are vacant, one of which is the fire casualty in unit 254. That solicitation to repair that unit is out, and we did have 4 firms that did come by for the pre-bid meeting on February the 19th. So we're looking forward to receiving proposals for that work, and that will be on the agenda for our March meeting for the commissioners to consider. We did complete our purge of the waiting list at the end of December, processing that purge through the month of January, and we are down to 270 applicants. So we are in the process of facilitating a new waiting list advertisement. I'll get into that in a second. And we did have 20 waiting list letters go out, with a total of 8 maintenance work orders completed and started for the month of January. We did complete, we do have, as of today, substantial completion on the fencing repair that was done at the Booty property. That was actually a part of our Inspire scoring issues that we did have. The few that we did have, that was a part of that, so that we are comfortable with P1, Project 1 Development's work on that. And on page 182 and 183, we have provided an updated report for repair plans for our vacant units as they're currently situated. We do have, like I said, we're going to be reopening our waiting list for the 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units from March 7th to March 9th. That advertisement will be going out on our website and also in the Herald Guide. We have addressed also something that I mentioned to you all at the last meeting, to revert the conversion application affected units back to mod demo. We're working with HUD to finalize that process in PIC. And when I did send Andy an email today indicating the length of time that we would like those units to be placed on mod, preferably February 25th, 2028, but if they can't do 3 years, then definitely 2. But just to give us enough time to make sure that the RAD application is completed and considered and approved without those units reverting back to vacant status. I'm not saying it will take that long, but
but once the application is completed, then we don't, because we keep it on mind so we don't end up losing the units.
Well,
so once the application is completed, then we're good, right? Or
yeah, once the application is approved and we get a CHAP,
okay,
yes, we get the authorization to proceed with the conversion from HUD, then that status won't be an issue anymore.
Okay.
Yes. It's just the approval will be the the final step in getting those from mod to offline, and in the process of being converted. On page 184 of your packet, we do have our HCV report, and let me go through that really quickly if I can. We did have 4 port outs searching for housing, 2 from St. John, 1 from Hanover, and 1 from Jefferson Parish. We had 5 port outs paying that have been leased up, 2 from St. John, 1 from Kenner, 1 from Ouachita, and 1 from Harris County. We did have 11 port-ins leased up, no port-ins searching for housing. We did have 2 EOPs effective 1/31/2025. For the month of January, we received in HCV payments $256,159.96, and for the month of January, we received outgoing HAP payments in the amount of $256,159.96, and we did receive from HUD the HAP income of $252,000, the incoming portable payments of $5,071 and $19,339 in administrative income. We did not have any eligibility processing from the current wait list because, again, we are on the shortfall list, and but we did recruit and have now in our program 3 new landlords. And we've, at the close of the month, had 248 vouchers leased up with 6 voucher holders searching. And on page 185 through 199, we have included our January 2025 VMS report that was timely submitted. And as a part of the report, I would also just like to remind the board that we remain in shortfall status along with many other housing authorities around the country. We are prevented from leasing up new voucher holders or paying for any new port-ins while we're in shortfall status. And we're still waiting for that follow-up meeting with Ms. Pauley and the shortfall team so that we can get a projection as to when the status could end for us. They've been very active in the reconciliation of the VMS from 2023 through 2024. So we do get updates on that, but just getting that status update is when they believe we'll be able to come off shortfall. We'll be able to let the board know as soon as we have more information on that. In addition to that, we are continuing a steady move to our RAD Section 18 blend application. We have scheduled the 2 required resident meetings for March 20th, 2025, one to be held at 3 p.m. and the other to be held at 6:30. Meeting notices will be going out next week to residents. Richard Murray and members of his team from Standard will be in attendance. And also when Richard comes in for the meeting, we'll spend time in the resource desk portal to make sure we're on the same page as it relates to application deliverables and the checklist that we received from Mr. Bordnave, our HUD consultant. Standard also anticipates providing updated financial projections in the coming weeks. I'm going to try to push for that information before we leave for D.C. As best we can, so if we do have conversations with our elected officials, we're able to communicate that effectively. Our plan revision, because we've pivoted from SVC to RAD Section 18 blend, we are in a plan revision review period, which the 45 days, which includes the removal of SVC and the addition of the RAD Section 18 blend language. That review period ends on March the 18th, and the public hearing for that will be scheduled before our next board meeting at 5 o'clock on March the 25th. Just in following with previous plan public hearings, will be an opportunity for any member of the public to come forward to provide any opinions on the plans that are available online and in our offices. And we have been advertising as required in the Herald Guide as well. So we are continuing to move forward on our application for the RAD Section 18 blend. We do have one resolution for consideration tonight. The resolution is a revision of the audit engagement policy that we passed at the last month's meeting, and it is to ensure ethical standards and best practices from the beginning to the conclusion of our audit process with our independent auditors. This revision includes language regarding the participation of a commissioner on the scoring committee, and if they choose to participate, the fact that they would have to abstain from moving, seconding, or voting on the selection of the independent auditor during the next solicitation process. And as an FYI, we have provided all the requested information from the 23-24 fiscal year for Mr. Estes per his audit engagement letter. And Mr. Estes will be conducting his site visit tentatively on March 19th and 20th. And we will keep the Audit and Engagement Committee and the board updated on that process. We look forward to attending the NARA Washington Conference. I kind of mentioned this a few seconds ago in mid-March, and providing updates to our board and the general public about what is happening in Washington and what effect that will have on the state of public housing in St. Charles Parish. We look forward to meeting with the officers of our delegation that represents St. Charles Parish in our nation's capital in March. And lastly, tonight, just a reminder, our offices will be closed this coming Monday and Tuesday for the Lundi Gras and Mardi Gras holidays, respectfully. And we sincerely hope that you and your family have a safe and happy Mardi Gras season. Commissioners, that concludes my report. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Hey, do we have any questions for Mr. Jackson? Mr. Woods?
Mr. Jack, when you say we're purging the waiting list, what kind of criteria, or what are we looking for?
So when we have a purge, we give, depending on the program, we give a mandated amount of time for residents who are on our waiting list, whether they be St. Charles Parish residents. They could live anywhere, but they have to apply to be on our waiting list. And what happens with a purge is that we send correspondence to their mailing address. One of the requirements of being on the waiting list is when you change your mailing address, you have to update us, because if you do not update us, we will send a letter to that mailing list. And if you're not checking that box, or you don't have forwarding service, then unfortunately you would get purged, because that's a part of the process. And you have that mandated amount of time to send or bring back to us, to our office, the letter indicating that you wish to remain on the waiting list. And the purge, I mean, depending on the size of the housing authority, it could be a bit of a reduction. It could be a lot, you know. So yeah, that's what happens during the purge process.
Thank you.
All right, any additional questions, comments? All right, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Woods, for your questions. All right, before us this evening, we do have a resolution now open for public comment. Seeing no one in the chamber, public comment is closed. Resolution 2502-2501, approving and adopting a revision to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy. This is a resolution that will allow for the revision of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy that was passed on January 28th, 25. Adding as the second bullet point, the Board of Commissioners shall have a member of the Finance and Audit Committee participate on the proposal scoring committee, with the member that participates on the scoring committee recusing themselves from the vote selecting the vendor. Approval and adoption of this resolution by the Board of Commissioners is required for revision of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy. The staff recommends board approval and adoption of the proposed resolution for the revision of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy. I had a couple comments on this as well. Had a discussion with Mr. Woods earlier in regard to the member that would participate. Number one, does this revision require a member to be on the
Scoring committee?
Yeah, on the scoring committee.
No, it does not require, because it says shall have.
Shall means shall.
Yeah, I mean, so do you believe it's required? It's a requirement? Okay. Well then, it would be a requirement.
Okay, so
Yes.
the discussion that we had.
We can be clear with the language. That's fine.
The discussion that we had was that potentially, since whoever is on the committee would essentially have to recuse themselves, because they cannot vote, they cannot motion, they cannot second, they therefore should not participate in the discussion during the board meeting, just to keep everything kosher. The thought process was that this should potentially, since we're requiring a member of the board to be on it, should potentially be our ex officio member.
Okay.
Because that person already doesn't have a vote, therefore they can be a part of that process, report back to the board on the process, without entangling themselves in
Potential conflict.
a potential conflict.
Okay.
So, I don't know if we want to
Amend.
amend this
Yes, got an amendment in mind,
Okay, Mr. Woods.
whenever you're ready. Where it says the audit process, the Board of Commissioners shall have the ex officio member participate in the proposal scoring of the committee. So just change that, instead of have a member of the finance committee, just have the ex officio member
Of the Board of
of the Board
Commissioners.
of Commissioners participate on the proposal scoring committee.
All right, do we have a second for that amendment?
Second.
Okay.
Put that.
I have to update the vote cast.
Okay.
We need a,
He'll clear it out and we'll. So we have a motion by Mr. Woods to amend our resolution 2502-2501 to state as the second bullet point, have the ex officio member of the Board of Commissioners participate on the proposal scoring committee.
correct.
And that is seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Well,
Let's see.
I messed them up.
It's okay.
He'll clear it out and we'll be able to do that.
All right. Okay. It's amended.
All right. So now do we have a motion to approve the resolution 2502-2501 as amended?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Diggs has moved to approve. That is seconded by Commissioner Bailey. All in favor, cast your votes. All right, that passes. Resolution 2502-2501, a resolution of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority Board of Commissioners approving and adopting a resolution for the creation of a St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy. The undersigned, being the duly elected Secretary of St. Charles Parish Housing Authority, hereby certifies that by written consent the following resolution was duly adopted. Whereas St. Charles Parish Housing Authority, the authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, and whereas the mission of the authority is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a suitable living environment free from discrimination, and whereas the authority, as dictated by federal, state, and local laws and regulations, must revise its various policies and procedures to ensure compliance and efficiency of process, and whereas the need arises for the agency to revise its current St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy that was created and passed on January 28th, 2025, and whereas the authority and its Board of Commissioners wishes to revise the following portion of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy, audit process, the Board of Commissioners shall have the ex officio member of the Board of Commissioners participate on the proposal scoring committee, with the member that participates on the scoring committee recusing themselves from the vote selection of the vendor. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution to revise the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority audit engagement policy is hereby adopted. The above resolution was read in full, roll was called on adoption of the same, and the vote was unanimous of those members present. All right, thank you. All right, are there any other matters before us this evening? Mr. Woods.
Mr. Chairman, just not that we need a solution this evening, whatever, but something to think about. As we are trying to get through this section 18 RAD blend process and all of this good stuff, I was concerned about, as we have the engagement now with the auditor, an engagement with the development partners are also that the board is in the mix and not the board as a whole, but someone from the board is in the mix and in on the conversation, and just kind of have somebody having a board perspective as the ED and our development partners try to get this package together.
All right,
You want to twist my arm? I'll do it.
Awesome.
I agree with that statement, and if Commissioner Bailey wants to volunteer. Are you wanting to volunteer for that position, or?
We'll do it.
All right, great.
Awesome. Good deal. So,
I'll make
Kim,
sure.
make sure he's invited to whatever, conversations take place.
Absolutely.
Good deal. Any additional, matters or concerns that need to be addressed this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll again open for public comment. Seeing no one in the chamber, public comment is closed. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Hold on one second. Oops, sorry. Sorry. Fly. Okay.
All right.
Y'all can move in second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Woods to adjourn and a second by Commissioner Bailey. Please cast your votes. All right, that passes. The time is 6:30. We are adjourned.
Take yours, but you just throw Rodney on there.
It didn't?
It-